Hi, welcome to Lightning Lessons brought to you by the Pikes Peak Library District. Hey, have you ever heard an eerie hooting or screeching outside your house in the evening? It's quite possible that you heard one of the most common bird species in the world, the owl. There are more than 200 different varieties of owls found throughout the world, with owls on every continent except Antarctica. But here in Colorado, you may have heard the hoot of a great horned owl or the screeching of a barn owl. Everything about an owl allows it to be an effective hunter in the dark. An owl will eat small mammals like voles, shrews, mice, sometimes birds and reptiles and amphibians, and sometimes even large insects. They swallow these animals whole, bones, fur, feathers, and all. They can digest the meaty parts of their prey, but they can't digest the other parts. So, the part of their stomach called the gizzard compresses the non-digestible parts into a pellet that they cough up and out through their beaks. Some call it owl puke. Every day, an owl coughs up 2 to 3 pellets. And in each pellet, there'll be 4 to 5 small parts of mammals, bones, fur, and even what the mammal has eaten. So sometimes there'll be seeds and berries and beetles. In your owl pellet dissection kit, 2 or 3 students can work together on this. You'll have a magnifying glass, an owl pellet, tweezers, a pipette, and a probe with a pointy end. And you'll supply a cup of water for each group of students, and they will have an owl pellet bone chart. Now, each of the 2 or 3 students on a kit can have a different job. Perhaps one student wants to pick apart the owl pellet. There will be rubber gloves available as well. Some kids can do it just with their bare fingers. So one person can be picking out bones and things, while another one washes off the bones, and while another student finds on here where the bone goes. And so, for instance, if you find a whole skull in your owl pellet, this is a bird. Do you see the beak? One of the students would find on here where to put the skull, and that's in the top line under skull. All right, now this chart is only showing a rodent, a shrew, a mole, and a bird. So anything not on here, you'll have to just set aside. Okay, so what do we do here? We are going to unwrap the owl pellet. And I'm not going to unwrap this one. I have one here. You can see it's very hard. And you can actually see some interesting things just looking at your owl pellet. It's quite hard. So the first thing you'll do is use your pipette. You press it to draw up the water, and you're going to drop some water on that owl pellet to let it start softening. Okay, now I have a softened owl pellet here, and I have started picking it apart. I have my latex glove on, and I'm all ready to continue picking here. I put the probe in one hand and have a rubber glove on the other. And I just take off a little piece. Look at this. And very gently pull off the grime. I place it aside so that your teammate can rinse it off with some water. Let's see what else we have in here. Just have to gently, so you don't break anything. There's lots of these small bones. Very, very tiny. I suppose it could be grass or pine needles. In fact, maybe it is pine needle. And just slowly work through your owl pellet, pulling out the bones, washing them and sorting them. Finding out what your owl ate. Now I'm using my magnifying glass to show you this is a jawbone, and according to my chart, it's a jaw of a rodent, which means it could be a rat or a mouse. But do you see the tiny teeth here? Can you see that? I have several jawbones. Now I'm pretty sure each animal just has two. So that means my owl ate several rodents. And I've also decided that these little, very thin bones are not pine needles, they're rib bones. And so that will go on here, because these are very, very, very thin. So maybe a shrew or a rat or a mouse. And then I have some exoskeleton, and so maybe my owl ate an insect, but maybe it ate an animal who ate an insect. So there's an exoskeleton, maybe on a beetle or something. I have several of those, and as you can see, I have several leg bones here. No skull today, but maybe you'll find a skull. That'll be exciting. Now there'll be some baggies available in your kit. Maybe each student can take home your favorite bone and show your parents. All right, well, owls are hugely beneficial to the environment. They eat rodents that tend to carry disease. They're on practically every continent in the world. And so maybe in your neighborhood, you'll hear an owl calling. Thanks for joining us on this lightning lesson, owl pellet dissection. Have fun.